Okay, 101.7 neat 100.9. Ya worship house wa Beka Junction Accra. Hello, 101.5 Wedum Kumasi. O my ma. Ya mamu nyina ha. Ebredu sense sama ya bono ye me me de somo say Peace FM prem to brekase. Every Peace FM so sanom. And on radio stations bro ha aduonum so Ghana ne amono ne. A live for hot digital radio so London, Unity Radio Worcester, Massachusetts. Kaseboy live for Peace 104.3 FM and a Peace FM online or Facebook, YouTube, a Despite Media. And somewhere dinamno e be any.
Speaker, anamo person wo to trockrata de kwama Attorney General, General Futuo, LGBTQ+ no. Yani emranim fo betwetwe won komo na mampani yate ba sonko a national economic dialogue wo me badwendwene o my Ghana sikasam ne ntote ho manager na agina brane yani development economist abetwetwe won komo na public utilities workers union ana wo masi peg se ehene ha se nkomo ma ban kwan ema electricity company of Ghana or turn the chan cran semua. Come here, William Monko.
ECG, the way I tell them, say, Omundi share private sector, who say, Benyano, HN say, Yabe say, every public sector company.
Electoral Commission, Electricity Company of Ghana, and Consumer Protection Agency. I said that we want to something. Am I entering?
You see, what the common private entity or no oba na dia ni say odwe profit ho
na ankane Jamsiani abede tire ba wosna manyoko MPP ye roma ne wade na wotwe atwamu ne ka no a urafo no ekwaje ye no wom de na ade ama no Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana etia na wom te ye no bebi nti wom so ma twa sensen
no kre otie ya suspended strike no.
And so we can wie Madam Romayade Ebremo.
Yem fast da Emma MTN se baby a wona Ghana bi omo ho nti omo mra ne everywhere you go. Eba internet na 4G plus omukuta. Tablet no eno so na abenya no. MTN, we there for you everywhere you go. You want this way chocolate drink. Koko so mfa so de eye bebre yen kwa gina ansa ne ebua. Ewie unya this way. Nyo so sheka kra memu sane a. Pensu mu adwo. Ana ice cube bi na de atotum. Wanum ye ode sapayos bedu bansana. Na wakwa akopenoga hill pie. Na de piano. Ewo ho. This way chocolate drink do here. Any sushi. Akan for a moti yenken me nana ya kunedu mene
ohene nana kwame amo na ensemnini mampeni John Dramani Mahama said yabo mama ne dada wate ba sonko bi se Ghana yesika sam ehon totoye titru ni ya Ghana sidi ya na ho oden so atiama America dollar yichi no a wabunu a masidi wura wo no ho no wamun hia na wamun sani wamun nyansa pose mransem du na wamun toto adwene na wamun yesika sam unim di fo de wamun no siko ewo ekwan awodo a ye befa so aboa ma Ghana yesika sam agina brane na eyeba sunku 7 member committee edi ade wo so national economic dialogue na we na kamampani ene naban anu ba wo mo oman ne se nyame ya dom ma mo bedu oman yi so a ene 400 aduonu a edi amamgo nanimu no anamo a wo betuo ni bi enie na asemi anana mo ya aban yetuo yi a wate ba so ko ya national economic dialogue ene wo mu din a Dr. Ismail Yamson obi ani mi se o yesikasemu pade hunufo ana da wo man so dwomtenani ya bwana monto yi won komo na ya bebia susan de bode wono befa development economist Dr. George Donfe Doc Peace FM suni ya Muhammad akwa bawie
yo menia bema meje uso
Afisha paso
afenko mete de Sabre na yina wa ho dene na nya me de ye ni so ade semi na do me.
Mampeni John Dramani Mahama no moya watuwe. Our the National Economic Dialogue abe. Bro ni say significant. E dey na kire dog.
Yo me nia bema. Mame na wase na me nchia tifo. No kwasem ne say ye mampanyini tama na onama oye campaign. Wa ma asemwe ahinta Ghana for o kan mframa mu kire Ghana for say senyame boa na say Ghana for to abama na nema na obeye no ba konin ene national economic dialogue ya na se kira ne say ye pese ye tutu obia no na obia kire na dwene ni nyansa eni ne nimde efa baabi a o ma na ye pese ye deko na ekobasa na se akwasika amaka afiaka adwenkyere ni nyina ye ka boma ebetimi aboa ama yenya the support of the people because akwasika can be ama can be na ye dia bas die behia obia ami enkuta hu die bia na se obia mo a obia da yire no no aboa ama oma no economy na na se yisika sem no etimi anya baabi agina.
Dok ya kai ya ho kakram se senchedie ne baaso na weni ba ye no na enkomo a efifiri se mire wo mu ni se ye se kwesi ada no pa be da na aya na agina memene da anwumre so senchedie no anye bia no eboae na ye die ni ato se de senchedie ye no sa na wensu be ye.
Yo mini abema me as individual there ubusa me say economic dialogue ehun hia minim dia kakra ene adwen kakra nya me dia ama me ene Ghana economy ho nsema minim no meka say ehun hia ba kokra ewom say empanyifo say wayi wo mu especially papa ya oda no yi oyi nim difo pa be hia ne da oyi obi a ye ka o ma mo nimdie betimi abo man sika sema wunti uyi ni filma enye ye kra ta nimdie ni nyina ho hia nanso de entia me say ehun hia kra say ye be say o man sika especially ye ra president ama ye nya ntie say ye send it anoso ti obitwa so ya ene no nam kra ni asa nyina so pese ministries no kra watete so enti wonti min kotete ministries so ensa amfa kwa bi so emesika bi nko ba bi asa bi hu hia de entia me say ehun hia Kama, you never the year 2020. Now 2022, Russian-Ukrainian war that was so. Emma the net economy. Emma, you win inflation 54%. Emma among form the following year. Omani in a agency, a share Omani Sika 7 to 2 SM. Yeah, a friend, the National Development Planning Commission. Omu ye adie ya ye be bia be friend dialogue omu so ye bi e wa Lisa Hotel Jordan family ne wo kasai na me a member of the economic team ya yen ni de na oda ya no eye emeritus professor NS IT ya baby atwam na Lagos school boy na o vice chancellor oda no omu so ye nipa bia ni mu ya du yire ya ni nim die kwa akiri enya Ghana anko ye ne etutu kwa ewiase mu ya baby abedu bia papa Pedro bia nim papa nim die na o de beda asa committee na no na committee ene other sub committees adwuma mu ye ne say yewura Jonathan Kunkufo ete so no wonya ni so ade hu bi say wo ye Ghana at 100 the year 2067 Ghana say ne ye pese ye hu no ema yewura ban redu die ni mu ma no mo ye ho krata sam to ho NDC bedi ade no almost Ghana at 100 na wa enti almost twa so na Ghana at 40 ema no so National Development Planning Committee commission ya ejina so ye entity na akufo adobaye almost the fufuro bi a friend Ghana Beyond Aid Agenda ebaye etimi ne ye tia na ye tia ye December 2023 wo Elisa Hotel. That development planning a year etwa nyina fi kwa me kuma abra so bepem ne no ene ye ka ni nyina bom royal senchedi ni nyina ka ho ye ka ni nyina bom ne ya pemu aba na yatimi ehu de bebo ama Ghana yakode ese yeko eye Ghana bicycle taxpayers money and Elisa hotel no ye de yes ade enti ade ba ko me hu ye ne say ufa kufuo at 100 Mahama at 40 Royal Senti Ghana beyond aid agenda when you are standing when you are 50 or some when you back at the thematic areas no and you this is acquire certain behind the cassia yafufra and you see cassia the Ghana you pass your do a man called you piani and you clear yeah we have policy documents meaning the woman said your mom what did say your best factors baby na nyama ye kwa ma no ne kokra no eso betia me atime ya dodo na we kroma na amanfo anyi adwuma aye bio agriculture nsam ni kwase didi agro ye mfa kwa ni asanyina ebetia ma farmers aye adwuma all year round na akoso mbo ya sa river water ya atinifi o mine na afọ kwa atifi ye betimi edi ayama akuafo ye bonifra na irrigation no ye betimi ayama akuafo aye afuo all year round so the food production ebe ehun sensam no ebe koyie ama yenya aduane adi ama industry ni so nya raw materials na yetimi akoye nim e wo sa akwa so clear ya ufa kufo de ufa yura dondamani ma mills de ebe fa na kufo de asemba kunya na de bia yaka na ko ba se asembo ho ye betu wana ma oni yentu na tambia no ye bepe ni pafofo na akotena se akose o ma sika akoka asem krona de a that is a Ghana na ye ya jese pese de Ghana ekoyanim
do we dey okay ne bisa senti we bisa senti national dialogue and economic dialogue is ya ye sika sem want to tie ne empempense pese eduru no kwan ben ne be fa so
na make say National Development Planning Commission for December 2023 yera Dr. Mensa Abraham Pawanya ne baby ko nyame fa ne kransi papa no ne di sa ade nanimo no oye Ghana nia abayama ne sa position say onya sa ade no na onhwe the way COVID-19 no to saboni enya we economy ne so any Russia Ukrainian crisis no yenji economy no in such a way that yankwa mabi no nyame fa sa ama so you na bi sa ba enka Ghana dodo se de kan no eno na make say hun komodie no yakodia akutre ni nyina bukrata so ya ene de na ya me fa ne say ye wie ye no ya no di sama ya di tu dwa no mini abema ene de yewura dona de kunkufo bres wo kaaye de yewura mills ba ya o ma ye de yewura Muhammad ye ni mu mi ye de na kufa do mi ye di ani mu the key thematic areas na running true eti ekwaya ye nam so a ye be manage economy na ma aye ye no de it is known and ya fe ni ye hear the best economists in the world to come and tell us ye nim dada ye hear say ye be fre me ma me ama do si da ma ama wa be chere na jene ye hear say ye be fre professor bi a we the best in the world ama wa be chere na jene ye nim dada ni na wa ho we da ma me ken ma omu kosmo mu je economic dialogue no omu wi a me press conference na me
Dr. George Donfe or your development economist and near the churchian mano at Atiatumu na professor of finance or University of Ghana Business School Professor Godfred Bobkin. Prof Amanaso. Oh. Saka Prof. Yane Professor Godfred Bobkin na etwa enkomoyiso. Prof is FM sini ya mwahewie.
Mr. Mawa ha earlier TFO ina.
Ewen said was adaje no brana we die ye bisa o. Enkuma ye boy ye national economic dialogue here mampeni ene naban ede abei. Na ye bisa wadwen kire kakra se ye hwe Ghana sika sem ne ntoto ya He pɔtee ɛna ɛwɔ ɔhaw challenges no ɛne deɛ wahia ɛho bɛhia sɛ national economic dialogue bi bɛba amea de aso ano no.
Okay, Midday, I'm saying, the last 4 years, since I'm moving 4 years, there were several suggestions, but I think the previous government didn't have a listening ear. So you can see there, the promise of the NDC, now it was predicated on the premise that there's a need for consensus building on some of the issues. They didn't only talk about the economy, education, and other critical sectors of the economy. So this is more in fulfillment of that pledge. But on a more substantive issue, for me personally, I think it's a good thing, building consensus, reaching out to people across the political divide, academia, civil society, the media. Let's brainstorm. What is the state of the economy? When we talk about the state of the economy, we can have our disagreements. Sometimes, the public debt in Kuala, our public debt sometimes looks as though it's a multiple choice. NDC for one year, MPC for 1 year, Bank of Ghana for 2 year. At the end, it's like choose what you like. But I think we'll be able to build consensus on where we are and then where we want to get to. What do we want? And then the next important step will be that how do we get there? And see, I think from that perspective, I think it's a good step in building consensus. But the mere fact that one set a committee, say more organized national economic forum, is not an achievement. It doesn't immediately solve our problem. There are real substantive things that we have to do. But of course, given the timeline that the president has given the committee, it tells me that the president wants the outcome of the national economic consensus, economic policy, as an input in their strategy, in their fiscal policy, monetary policy, or budget statements and all of that. So to that extent, it will be an important input in the decision making of the president or of cabinet in that way. But of course, what Ghanaians are going through economic challenges, baseline, there is reasonable understanding that the economy hasn't been managed prudently. So we have to do something different. And I think it's important that the president is reaching out to harvest ideas from different quarters and stuff like that in the nation building. I would think, and I've said it somewhere, that the most pressing issue right now is irresponsible mining, illegal mining. That is the biggest threat to Ghana's economy. So the same agency our president attached to the economy. The president will attach the same agency to dealing with irresponsible mining, which also includes illegal mining. Because you can never have an economy without environment. You can never have economic sustainability, economic transformation without ecological sustainability. So what happens if in the next 4 or 5 years, all our water bodies are polluted, our water treatment plants we don't have to start down in one way or the other? Where is the economy and all of that? I want to believe that the president has a strategy, but let's not pick and choose. The issues that are more important to the water economy and some of the things affecting the economy they are also coming from the illegal mining. If you look at food inflation, we are destroying our farmland, water bodies that can irrigate our farmland. If you look at cocoa, our cocoa production has gone down significantly because of what illegal mining, climate change that they are doing now. And overall, for a leader to say that let's have a national consensus, a way out of this, I think that's very good. But that in itself is not an achievement. Ghanaians want results. So, given the short timeline that the president has given, my understanding is that the president wants the outcome of this forum to guide his economic strategy and the financing and all of that. To that extent, I think it's very good. And now, for instance, some of the people who are on the committee, I don't know all of them, but at least there are two of them that I know very well, Dr. Yamson and Dr. K.Y. Amwasi. I mean, these are very solid people, particularly Dr. K.Y. Amwasi, the work that he has done on the Ghana Compass. So all this experience, I believe, we brought to bear. Beyond that, the committee also has other responsibility of reaching out to other experts here and there and all of that. So I think if we can build consensus, what are the most pressing things about taxation, which taxes to go, which one should be restructured. If we're able to build consensus along those lines, then implementation will also have little resistance. And then there will be a lot of buy-in from Ghanaians. So I think that is, in fact, it's done in other countries and stuff like that. What I will plead is that it's not just a one-off and all of that. There should be probably once a year or so that we evaluate objectively and all of that. It should not be up to politicians to tell the patient how you feel, regardless of how the patient feels.
Prof, better say we pa na say the tion ka say mu dia wo gidie wo national economic dialogue yimu say bi pa be free Nazareth aba.
Something has to come out of it. We can't spend national resources to organize it and leave it like that. I also indicated that the real thing is the implementation of the recommendations that will come out. The ocean economic history since independence, say a country, let's come together and have an economic strategy. This. We have done very well in those areas. And if you look at Ghana's development, it's in the library. It's in the library book, it's in the textbook. All the good things we need to do are all in the literature. That is where Ghana's development is. It's not out there. So the reason why you see our development in the literature rather than in the real world is because we are unable to implement the very recommendations that our experts have proposed. That is the issue. So for instance, about the illegal mining, we know what to be done. Look at what Trump has done in the U.S. He has declared state of emergency along the U.S. border. So if really this president wants to tackle irresponsible mining, illegal mining, it should be one of the first few things that he would have done by now, either state of emergency, whatever, because that's it. So leadership, right? The most pressing issues requires a kind of front-loaded approach to dealing with that. So merely having a forum is not a solution. But, and as I said, it should not be strategy for accomplishment. It's a good intention. The recommendations have to be implemented.
Prof, we better was. Professor Godfred Bokpin, or University of Ghana Business School, or your Professor of Finance, and you're in the Bonkomo.
Omampeni John Dramani Mahama Kodru Kenya, na o State House here wo Kenya. Anopai wakan in for African Union na my empeni for ho a makwa kohia fa adwene AU reforms e ho retreat ase. Na ebibrema my empeni for nhia muyi wo mo hwe kwan befa so na bibiman kubatan African Union no. Wo metimi aye nsesa ya hodo bia ebeboa ama memmo e wo fam no etimi agina yim. Ebra wo kro no wone na pamfo ya e wa ban mu bi ene koye. Ghana Yenem Sini, ye head of missions, Ewo Kenya. His Excellency Damte Bediakon Asari, Afei acting presidential spokesperson Felix Kwachofusu Honorable, Ne Executive Secretary Dr. Callistus Mahama, Ena Afei ni Deputy Chief of Staff Operations Stanley Dogbe, Ena Ekoye. Ye Centrani Salamat Kukwa Pentel, Ede de Amanibwe Ebaye. Na you yada Salamat Kukwa Pencil ase Pius Bedu Bansen ne the production team ayo mate medam wase ye konsem foforo so no problem Ghana mrashebe dwamu chamehene onumunyamfo Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin de atodwa se Emrana yetintim na yejitu mumra shebedwam fa sansafo abrabo eho beka sansafo ana meka ema ya omso omo beware ma memo omso beware mema nipa omso omo pese omo yedua omo pese omo yesakraman omo pese omo ya adantamu sa sansafo emra no yetintim ye no mampani dada na nadodan kwa kufuado wan fa ne san hyase ansa na wo kro no onmunyafo Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagben say Dame biano obepesa Attorney General any Minister of Justice for your Ghana obekone na so akwakope mu afutuo na okasa ye e wo Cote d'Ivoire eyenhyemu ya Ghana fo ye wo ho wase e ho no kokasa ye sa emrei ehia papa na mrahye bedwa na wa bandada no mu no e na gitu mu de na aka ne sa Abraham Mpani na nadodan kwakufu ado ne sa be hyase na ba be dimu ena wono amfa ne nsa nhyase na ne nsa na wamfa nhyɛ saa mra na sen kura nso kura wafomra enti ena obekɔ Attorney General na so na wakɔ akɔpɛ nkyiremu e wɔ saa asebi mu.
LGBT bill, it was passed by Parliament. The former president failed or refused to assent to it, which was unconstitutional. There is no law allowing a president to refuse or fail to assent to a bill passed by Parliament. Parliament is the authority on passing laws, not any other person, not president. So he was wrong. And all of you together punished him for that. I am going to write and send it to the new Attorney General and Minister for Justice for his comments for us to resend it to the new president for his assent. So it's not going to take long time. It will be passed this year. This year, we'll pass it. It is anti-God. Yes, I'm very, look, that thing, nobody should joke with me when it comes to that area. I can lose my life because of that. It's better not to live than to live in that society where man to man.
Eti se oman anase babia enipa ese bema ne eware edie se metina mu de ene nkanyame mfa me kra nko enti ono de onmunyafo Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagben wonfo aso da sesa subantantan no ye beso soso e wo mayi mu na emrai ho asem de oman ba munim ebeje menua e wo man Ghana mu ankasa mekai pa se na de uboso kaseboso se yetimi de na wotwe mua eka asem bia kodai e mebe ka asebe saa ensemhuni eno ena na adechie ni adesan yetwa pia obehwe na nsentwere ni we watabi ena mde court na we si afa mpanimfo bi sore kura wo ho se ye nkrofo fa ho de yenya wo mo ho nsensem de yompo munim ekosi samra hyebedwam wo ye gemra etumu ya yejitu mu nso ekonkon ho e wo yaje atum ho sebe ye adwuma no yenkwa homa so e na woni enim de emramu no ba ko ye lawyer Kwame Adofo yemisa na dwen e wo sese baby a yabedri ho mira Peace FM so ni ma han
ye leo
ye da se wi so ne obreu
o mai dwani bia
yo de yera Alban Bagben ekenie se obehia se Attorney General foforo ebetu ne fo ewo anti-LGBTQ+ emrano eho oje ne say
amini wa menchia o ni o chiefo no hefo na min kan se speaker se opeso di agenchire every Attorney General Alban ho me fi se eye ne kwan no and se yesu busa for enfum kwan and this wabana se bibi eche nadwen no on tiasia ohun kwan so beko no kwakwaje adwenkyere every aban lawyer pagin ho enjere de bibi tende kwan na de me kata se a lawyer for bibri adwene enko benkum ebinum se parliament a pass ni branda wiero a pass branda a pass bill na wiero de parliament e wiero tuma na se ko president ho se president ho na e pass no fofo no abano parliament e wiero tuma se ko ho na o sign na ebinum so say no parliament na pass no a parliament dada no a etwem enti se twem dia parliament fofo na aba no so muso e pass embra krono answer na ko president ho amanasa and this be agina no is either say yes so we have company land so yeah you buy the assets and liabilities and is a parliament ba kono a na wo ho no omo ye adwuma oba beto aso ebi no so say no so omo ye mbra not yan sign ya mbra na nya animu it is a parliament no high expire and say new build dia just a start eco pass it for it is a good idea say a speaker over G agony every attorney general in the way forward.
Right, sir, yeah, Ghana, yet be fear want to America so. Yen I will be a sinti bit me a kakakra. Sir, we share America, Mampeni Donald Trump. What ne Jaswa, and sir, dear, abide dano, a year, and also dear, ne war dada, better yeno. Watch na dream. I do no she aba abeto so. Yen ya hano, ye bibisa enye young.
Well, bibisa President Mahama, Tama Wobo, and Tuano. Okay, so buy Obesign. So buy ya Obesign bill. At least, so sign. Or sign we are now for the Supreme Court. I must Supreme Court and teach you say, no crest the Parliament back who pass a bill. Nothing yama mra. New president don't mean sign na. The lawyers will be agent baby. If you say Parliament ne pass here, nothing sign, not a Parliament ne if you want a Parliament for bar. So bill no If you say no, bill no they are passing it. President bill will be a sober sign. Now where the President Mahama or Botswana was so about the sign. It is so castle about the sign there. And he so sign. Let me know quite and will be the Supreme Court. Because I didn't have to Emma with the Supreme Court. Some Supreme Court decision whatever last December no FIGBT for the coin. What's it tell me it is that the president on sign or sign not by Emra celebrate with the Supreme Court. Now Ubusa said America into Buano. Said one is over sign. Or sign out. What Nijina. It is if he said a unconstitutional Hona na Obinia Quine, et court. That's Supreme Constitution.
And I know Omampeni John Mamaka, a far who say, Emrano Crano, air com Rashebe German, ne was senka. A year or minor and a day aircraft and your private member bill no. As he was saying,
I am correct because as I said, what they obey now a cost to government to implement that. And said government is sponsor. And correct. That's also election campaign. Yeah, it is a President Mahama Kasau. Or Kasau Bow sign. And your book share and was share Ghana for. It is what share Bonodia and so signing pre. Now one won't just say what will the court. And yet I think I want share a book I mean Gina so more, you know. I feel now be teaching so. Let's think Satan na ye. Na former President Mahama, so a President Mahama, no him. And then one ka am ya said the Gina Yini said bill ne kono process near wrong. Then said government sponsor. No kind of no no nya home benefits. We to Obama other than a president. I feel now because we say government sponsor. When is that not the Ghana point in
Mira, yadasi.
Come on.
Yadasi. I was a follower, Kwame Adofo, or am renim ni mapa. And na sabi, emra, ye bra san sambra, a huhubra, and a sabi, a musudie, baby I yacho chenes rani abasa kudri, a ye, yaje na drink cry.
Na what ye chemu and Akan ne Jumtin ya bedi chire. Edma NPP amanyokuo no. Ye ro mare wade. ne Lexus 507 car no kra na Fort kakra bem kra mo de akwa fitemu a afitafo ehwa ICC ni ya matan so esi road ene se kwansini mrante bia wo mo kire mu se wo mo free ora eyo operation recover all loot wo maba se car no aban hia ampeni ampa o mare wa de ete ye no na kai wo mo de ko ehun komo yabo na ene foforo a epia kire ne se ne sa kan Lexus 507 no na ye kwa mo no so na ye ne na kase bisa ne kakra se wano na kope to winka ko hwe bebi aka ni sino koto ya na se de na koso ye rama hen
mejo
we da asem no an medi nkan de atu adwa no na wo twetwem ye bom amane na wo se wo ne wa lawyer fo be kasa na ja matu nwana mo sa na mo ntwe na de kan na baba ke no na se kwan foforo bi e na mo fa so
yo me da se mam cho team for ai amako Friday no ye ko ho then kan ese pa ba bi release ni ho debe and Saturday ye ko and so na me na omode my and then they omo the work can almost the abanisika me no you the taxi card na the tow truck e go fire na me ko ya me ko pa me ka tom som pa ma de me so almost me ko pa me can ko pe tow truck na me fence and I had to do that but you see I tell me go for no eka the next line of action because injustice ya una ne amam boye seven we still encourage it and then I am me my confirm there ochina ebet me akwa me amum ade be chine father there yakwa akotam here they won kran here ebet me na ntiako hot no mo akofa but the otikumase the otitamale the otiho the otiwa ya confirm there na su ka free be awo na samba abefa and we must stop that that 7 and then Ghana I think them on there yeah mukran say metro men 8 number fast police for 4 Akan the metro men for na any moment police for 4 no say muka ho say there car I want number I'll find a number I'll call DVLA obehu there any there I want chassis number and then by me another room ukra phone now bought chassis number no phone put me on the car they are buying there now say why there obehu die a crack no car first in Dubai 2016 that time na MPP na also na your opposition a car no sa Ghana had 2016 a 2016 model and registered in 2016 I believe 2024 what's a buying there only pass that band so tall a Lexus that a buying minister the woman that tankusa and the bado and motor this is Lexus a buying top na wako tamza ya banka ade me nam se de kromfo egumani wan on betienka only for zo
na ebra ya twetwe nkoma na anu fi ada no na unyenya senti a wo mso mbefa aka no we no mukọ ya ansa no mde ka na ma wo no wo mu kire omu senti o mfa aka no
no mo kan ya se ka de ya banka ena banka
wo munya nkrata bi detail kire se you ya abandia
almost obi na make a job say ya banka na ka me finish ya ma father ko bi e president no aka ko tema aka profit dey na je say ya banka na da ko ti we bi o check it and every in today's Ghana how
anti we no so sampa sese aban eja pade bi ni aban ne ma bi akodidi nkrofo bi wo kwanbone so a yewura mane o mare wa de be susu se ka kwan ben so na yemfa na aban sa be kan we no enkoye se yegu ni pe ni mu ase wa bra wo die sei ya ken entesa na nso se be kwa ko wiase na anamonto bi sa de ni mguase ya bai
kwabe unlike the past no I buying a fruit bar or call land cruiser brand new man for 5,000 and 10,000 land cruiser brand new. When the man for people are more GP and about every farm. we na kufu at office no catch an appointees in wow a bank car war official car surrender fakoma on my office fakoho almost no option to buy also via grand talk via young talk a bank car move yeah to surrender and I have a strong conviction that every appointee and that will be asked of the car. And as a matter of fact, a buying aircon was there the number of vehicles are what talk. You have the contact, the lines, number plate. You have the chassis. Those two were they allocated. You have the list, and the something found in the Maya. Then list is anybody one. So go to call the person or go to his house and take it. But I have a feeling nobody is keeping a vaca. Actually, the person now won't make us here the way actually we are not supposed to have to be out. Your motive is not propose no vehicle. Now again, one must say Ghana or be one who more than a good watch that will now turn the car no was a car near the banker. And the Ghana has way and way more than. If there's no bad liberal bonding, I hear a consumption, hypocrite, and man, as you might be now, so you could point it out. Now, to Toby, don't bring the Yakupo down so that we not bear. Let me work hard. So now also be yet to set the Nipano all time and the announcer who they lost an answer and our child. That's the attitude and the mindset I think the people doing that they should adopt. My penny for your bringing penny for down. And yet I'm more by no minor.
When you can say, one better in Canada, something a promoter in Cana and not some common. That was so. Euro Maria, dear, Akan, Jemson, Yabedi, Dema was Namanuku NPP. The Lexus 507. Ora, Tim Nobefa, call, Yamiadum, his Canadian. The Koya Namsuman and Saka Yena, your boy home.
Public Utilities Workers Union PU, Eshe Trade Union Congress, say, or Ghana ha. Omodia to just say none was some more bank yesterday electricity company of Ghana or for one dream. Now what on the Fabi dia man crown, one more Maquine ne and Maquine china. And ne PU no tref General Secretary or Timothy Nyame. 1 year central for Kasa Church Dientia, Womusu say, as I saw buying a dane electricity man kokoye and crown cry a juma imu. Watch him the chest or how no that ECG swonum. Ye Dania Kwan, Koma and Crown the best say, and Yama Bejin Semu, am you been near.
Ne kanyina yen ka no obonimu ye nim say ECG the way I tell no say omudi share private sector problems are ebenya no e chen say ye be hwe say ye be remain public sector company oh say na meka no this is a state owned organization and our government abehu say problems wo e kanka minister na no yeti say onukra okọ port e ko hu normal e ko so ECG ato normal adiagu port muntu min clear say ECG dika so and nti no mu privatize na ye can say ye muno and say privatize problem no mo hunu mo yen yen kambum na yen solve problem no na emma ECG engineer as a state owned entity.
Yera Timothy Nyame sansre se osraban woni Midday e wo nyina monsensem ho PU fo ne ka ho ehia na mo fa ho adwen ne no e ne beboa.
Among women, the privatizing government institution bebre ABC and then performance no and so any and your other examples here bit me say other countries your privatizing power energy sector I know so emwa enti yen PU and your members no yes we are stakeholders in the country or in the organization enti normal ye who say the two why be ye no e say ye nyina ye debate ye be ma be chira ban amano this is our the stand of PU this is the stand of workers of ECG so that we don't give the entity to some private individual to come and operate, but we should rather solve the problems and institute higher control so that company will be a amount of money.
Onipo kasayi eye PU Public Utility Workers Union. Na wamo chef for Timothy Nyame ne Clinton kwasiamwako ene dia maneboyi ebaye.
Na ECG wonko watutwi ya na Consumer Protection Agency CPA ko yinzo se nyame anim ni wamde omfa so se aban ede ECG ebema ankrankra se wo munyina wo munye so. Ye na executive director in charge of media and arbitration. Our Consumer Protection Agency. Nana Prempe or Kunji Abuo Eduhine. What's doing?
But for free, now it will pose seriously our private participation in ECG because I will say, and your private participation and never my ECG and your baby Papa Ejina. Name and your mobile Nubia, Yankasaya by no, any operations of ECG no, and then my ECG no, and yan and Naso. Now say, I buy my ECG the opportunity no, I'm an Jumasa de Fata. I'm say, your private participation because Nipa no a woman no, Nipa for Frana Obano as a private person no then susuyanku no babeya anka abanya ono oye ultimate responsibility no onto me enu bi ne can say so we ECG ECG eto what the comma private entity ono oba na dia ne say odwe ne profit ho at the end of the day omo ya so omo nyomo sika ne omo profit ne wia no mo say adwuma na say gu ECG all staff use wa you feel say it is wrong if they give the opportunity to ECG itself the management no they will do better na saban so be ne nyoma ye na watua ne bills ne ministries ne agencies no municipalities no metu o bills ECG no enye se de eti ene
eno tire na nana prempe okoji abo eduhine etiremu se problem na wo ECG no problem bi a enkaban ankasa etena se no atene ni dia hwe a obetumi asolve no simple problem ni na ne se Electricity Company of Ghana wo mokoto ina mahoode ni free grid ko no mokoto a wo de dollars ne koto na wo ba no mo to ama Ghana fo a wo ma beton no cedis wakoto ne dollar no na odi abre Ghana fo cedis entimra Ghana fo a wo moto power no a ono ECG koto no dollars wo be use wi a wo be tua ka no na dollar no ne buo no a ECG ede koto power no baaye no na ekosoro enti abribia no na ECG oboka sense ne eno de dollar koto power no every grid ko ba ya Ghana for won be use power no won be ton cedis won muntiaka na ECG nsika no ma no na ye next week a ebeduro no na dollar no kosoro tabribia no mo shoto wosi wei ene ohaba akomienu bi a ewo ho abantire ni hwe a ehia se ade be man krankre ECG eto power free grid co na auto power na auto no because of independent power producers no auto in dollars ECG top power ni in dollars no beton in cedis ama yen consumers no sometimes ECG taking about 2 or 3 months and about nya gigi ni sika every consumers power na you use no by the time na obagigi ni sika na wie no na dollar na that time na ebia na 14 auto ye no na afi akoye 16 se akoye 16 na sa 2 cedis na abeda ho no abeye ka ama ECG say car anka power yentu but a car because of inflation into and as because of depreciation into abeda ho a friend artificial debt for ECG 20 when your ECG problem as a government push all the problem on ECG but when your ECG problem when your government problem also on no say the exchange rate is stable. Tini executive director in charge of media and arbitration. Our Consumer Protection Agency, Nana Prempe or Kunji Abuo Eduhine. One piece from the same train Yaman before Patricia Sifafisha and a Chichin Kumai.
National Council for Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana Sitag say nan wetuano na woche kakrantem ne womote ye no mo dia bawie ne nyina ne Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Controller and Accountant General's Department eni won nyina atenase amoano akobenkrom amenu nti adwumayefo ye wo honom se na wo mo akatua susudua no a wo mo prese de wo mo beto so no wo mo free ana free ehun adwuma ase na wo se esan sa erehemu no a aba enti enam National Labour Commission konyasia wo si gina ye no eno na ama enei wo mo de atuate no aba awiye. National Secretary Fidelis Kamayi ena ekasa ye wo ho no ne yensentre ni Patricia oni yensentre ni Prince Bafo Asamoah Konongo Jackie Chan ene kasa ye
ya suspended strike no a year the pompons when a migration of staff from a year kind of education pay structure to the traditional university pay structure. No, and then the major thing. I want issues na ye reason. You mean say a controller keep pay wages, omokabomu, ama ye migration. Yeah, also here, migrate a year college of education staff, and the core a traditional university hero. Post migration issues and as a fallout. There sometimes your migration gear and problems kaka wo. And omasha and omama and hobase ombesha no see sani marina so amai. They catch almost say ye B school and ne omomra. The teacher for are ready to be receiving almost their various halls of residence. Onipa
Okasayi a General Secretary Emma Sitak Fidelis Kamayi. Na wamananso ho. Osaka sa se. Oswafo foforo hwe ngomasuya so oswafo awabe. Wachire pepa. Epese oni omotenase. Na dia asem ne tie bia no. The didi actually no, almost share a kangu fem, and also a asem de.
Young Honorable Minister, no, Senator Americano, you're not a very, very important ne woman, and no Omaye, until near Akikano, do anything here, no, and Fenny, a particular minister, now for your name at Nasi, near her paya or Bebwaying, and my to me, I resolve near Akan. So, striking your posa, here, I bring and pest like you. Into you should say, see, you could share one more. Omerezobo Niamana Kanamai, Senator Young Coast strike you, post migration issues and as a fallout. There sometimes your migration gear, Ayana problems kaka wo. And Omasha and Omama and Hobase, Ombeshano CC, Sani Marina, so am I.
Yes, Johnny Prince, Bafwa Samwa, yes, son Mane Konongo Jackie Chan, and a cry na woda, or no, and a day Amanibui a baye.
The National Secretary at the Mar Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, Trinity as a chas. Ora Primus Baru. Now, one in our Mubino piece of FM and same training a man about 40 train come. At their fire, ma one was senior high school, one would do any day. And Wabama, yes, Yamin Chad and Abrams menu. Say, Woba Secondary Schools no more in Yanana Quadani Dino. And this a canenoa. Sent no crab of fun kodan so no mobile phone woman. Eduani besia ba ya yesa kodan kodi. Nani boss pe na ni appetite atikosa internet. Ba ya koda yi dan. Waso de odibedi se eduani de nka obenu nsuo. Nanso so nansa intemu nuane a wo ye man kodan no. Sent ne kakakura wutumi hia e de dokono boto di meyeye. E de papa na eye nuane nso so a ebeboa man kodan no adwunum ebia momosua de na wo mi obi no wabisa ne se na ekoba ne sen na nansa yintem sansa tre ya bankoda na didie mu a ene de bufu aduane na yeye mu omudie yi ano so aban ba yensese ya waye se nkra ne benya aduane pedi amo mabo omu yefunu no mafunu mabe enye ni gedi esua de no sanse se yeye na amna koba ne saa wose de dikan nnuane na sese wo mu yede mankra no yedi free warehouse and a senior high schools wo eno dan chen president ase ese wo mo de da secondary schools ano no wo mo nkodwom e mo nkoto moko ene nyado ani nto sa aprobia wo mo nkoto papa no eye mo a no komo nyina wom dabi wo mo nto de ye fa mo nkra no na nkra ni no se waye ne kete January bosome de to so diunu ena mampeni ehye yese wo muntu sa na mo no enti nuane na nkura ne di no eye nuane a headmasters no anzu so ni tuomu bi de ye ena makota abade mankoda ye dia ora Primus Baru to asoka say.
Yes, so I think there's some improvement. There's been some improvement, especially somewhere at the end of last week. Up to the beginning of this week, Monday. Over the years, since the instructions were given, they started cutting the food stuff from Tema to the various schools. It was only yesterday that the very distant regions received theirs. So all the schools didn't receive at the same time. And so right now there's some improvement.
And what's the na womi wabene wa de tuna nimu say kamya ye say nkrofo kwadu a wo de bo Charles conference of heads of assisted secondary schools ne say wɔn nsɛm bi a yɛn ɔhaw ne amaneɛ ɛne nneɛma bi a ne wɔn dwumadie di esie no ɛkamea yɛ sɛ wɔn akɔma no atum de wɔn nsa ato ɔma no ada Sunday school nkɔdaa na na ɔma yɛ kɔma yɛ din ɛwɔ nneɛma ani wɔn dwumadie di esie saa ɛna so wɔn nyɛ kɔmu nyɛ din deɛ si bia no wɔn ka wɔn asɛm na mmom sɛ dawurubɔfoɔ ɛna wɔn adwene nhyɛ daa ɛni so.
Oh yes, there are certain times that by the nature of certain problems, it will attract more attention than the other. But it has never been the style of Charles, neither will it still be the style of Charles to always come out on issues publicly, on every issue in publicly like that. No, we can't run away from the fact that some headmasters had complained about certain punitive actions being taken against them because they spoke out. No, but that's not the fundamental reason. As and when we deem it necessary to speak, like we